Let's investigate a couple of ways to replicate a smart object. By replicate, I mean copy. First of all, I've got my smart object here sitting on this yellowish layer, and you can see I've got a layer mask on here so that I constrain this to be square. The first way I'm going to try to copy this smart object is I'm just going to take it and drag it down to the new layer icon, and that makes a copy for me. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to double click. Well, even before I double click that copy, let's go in and let's make this smaller. The way I'm going to do that is I'm going to hit my Command or Control T to bring in my free transform, and now I'll just hold down my Shift and my Option or Alt key and bring this down and make this quite a bit smaller, like that. There. Now I'm going to bring this over here and I'm going to put it in the yellowish area, and I'll just click Enter to accept that. Okay, so now I have two copies of the same smart object. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to double click on one of these smart objects, and I could actually do either one. I'm going to click on the copy here, and when I double click on it, since it came originally from a raw image through Camera Raw is opening up here. So what I'm going to do is I am going to take this image, and right now let's just decrease the saturation on this down to almost black and white. Oh, why not? Let's take it all the way down to black and white. And I'm going to click OK. Now watch what happens. Since I made a copy of the image, both images change. So the smart object, when I make a copy, it will maintain the characteristics of the original. Now let's just take the copy image and let's copy that again. This time I'm just going to use my Command or Control J shortcut, and you can see I have another copy of it here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to highlight my Move tool, and I'm just going to drag this down, and you can see that this has changed again. Well, it hasn't changed. I still have the black and white. Now if I go in and I double click on any one of these, this time let's go into the original, and let's put the colors back into it. Let's bring the saturation back up like this, and I click OK. All three change. Now, what if I wanted to make something different? Well, that's easy to do. You can't do a straight copy on it, but what you can do is let's just highlight one of the copies here, and I'm going to right click on this layer. Now if you don't have a 3-button mouse, you can, and you're on a Mac, you can just control click on here, and it'll bring up the contextual menu that will say New Smart Object via Copy. And now I have another one. This is copy number 3. Let's take that and just drag it down below there, and you can see that it's the same as the others, but let's turn it off and on just to make sure that that's the right one. Now I'm going to go in and I'm going to double click that. Now remember, we made that new smart object layer by copy, and what I'm going to do here is I'm going to make this one black and white, and let's pump our contrast up a little bit like that, and I'm going to click OK. And look what happens. Just that one image changes. If I make another copy of this, just by doing the Command or Control J, and I separate it out, you can see that it maintains the same characteristics as the one that I copied. So, where are we? If you want to make a copy of a smart object that will act just like your original, then you just drag your layer down to the new layer icon or hit Command or Control J. If on the other hand you want to make an independent smart object, then what you do is you go in and you right click and go New Smart Object via Copy. By the way, you can also get to that by going up here to the Layer menu and go to Smart Objects and say New Smart Object via Copy. And what that will do is make an independent smart object. So that's all about copying smart objects.